What is going on? You are watching and listening to Tags Live, aka Talk About Gay Sex, the live edition. This is 2022. I'm your host, Steve V, and this is 328th the episode alongside Kodi Maurice Doggette. How are ya?
Hello, darling. Guess who's back in the house? We doing good over here. How are you?
Yeah, the second time around's always better, right? Since you can hear me now.
I wasn't going to say anything. I
I
was going.
know, I
We're
know.
professionals, Teddy. That's why. Okay.
So yeah, I mean, we started the show a second ago just to be real and honest here, and I realized I'm in not my normal locale because I broke my ankle. Long story, anyways, but I realized I didn't have the mic up to my mouth, and I'm going on and on about how my surgery is not this Friday, it's Monday because I have to have a COVID test, but the COVID test that I got for Friday is no longer valid,
Yeah.
and now I have to have another COVID test to have the surgery on Monday. So there you go, you're up to date. But
And
but
Teddy
you
called us
know,
out for the same banter. I was like, that's how they do it. It's take two. Okay.
it's scripted. This is a scripted show. No, it
I
is
mean, if it's
not.
good, it's good. That's all I have to
It's
say. So why not reuse
absolutely.
it?
Well, we wanted to, one of our favorite things that we did in 2021 was vulnerable voices, and we're going to do a
Yeah.
shorter version of it because we have to talk about the elephant in the room, which is,
Mhm.
damn it, COVID. I
Ugh,
mean, a year
that bitch is back.
ago, we were there was sort of looking a little brighter, and you and I went to Puerto Vallarta for my
Yeah,
50th birthday. Here we are
that's right.
again.
Girl,
Like, it seems even
Omarion,
worse.
Delta Burke, everybody is back in
Delta.
town.
I love that. And it's gotten real personal with you, though. Tell the
Yeah.
people.
Joe, my boyfriend, he just came up to COVID positive, and I'm COVID negative, and we've been together for the past week, and we're attached at the lips. So I don't know if I have super antibodies or I'm going to get it at some point. But we're attached to the lips, so I don't. I'm treading very lightly. But he's had symptoms for about 2 days and 2 or 3 days now, and I am okay so far.
The kids these days, they seem to
Maybe
be
it's
getting
because
it
he's so much younger than
stronger.
me. Yeah,
It could be,
exactly.
or it could be that, my sister brought this up to me. She said she remembered that I had it back in 2020 and you had it.
Uh-huh.
And if you remember, my antibodies lasted for so long.
Mine did
I
too.
haven't had that checked. Obviously, they don't do that. We can barely get a freaking test.
You know what?
So, maybe which will go into our next story. Maybe it's your superpower right now.
Maybe it
You
is. You know what? I'm gonna wish it into existence. Okay, speak it into existence. Put it out there in the universe. My superpower is to dodge coronavirus,
Yeah.
like Britney Spears in that Toxic video. And
Exactly. And but I wanted to just share a little thing. I was watching an astrologer today because everybody is about New Year's
Mhm.
resolutions, and it could seem pretty bleak if you were to reflect on last year where we were, and then we had that glimmer of hope on hot vax summer
Yeah,
last year, and it seemed like everything was kind of moving in the right direction and out of the darkness, only
yeah.
to find ourselves, like, our holidays, many of us were so darker and not great,
Mhm.
and people coming down with COVID left and right. I know
It's true.
Teddy, watching us right now, said it's just a shit show in Los Angeles. Of course, here in New York, it is a bigger shit show. If that's
Facts.
possible, you
I
got to
don't
use
know.
both of those emoticons when you put New York and the shit, the shit one
And the show.
and the show, because there's no Broadway shows happening right now. So you're only watching a freaking shit show. And
That's right.
yeah, and so
It's not
it would
cute.
seem like, what to look forward to. I will share with you that, you always have to look at half glass full. And this astrologer said, yes, and in advance, we all
Mhm.
just need to kind of take day by day, take a deep breath, check in
Mhm.
with your 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 people, your
Your
crew, or
loved
develop
ones.
some
Yes.
neighbors like in at a distance. And in end of March, she says there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
Oh, I
And
can't
it
wait.
does work
Thank
with
you.
my trajectory because I know by that point I'll be up and walking with
Hmm.
PT, maybe hopefully maybe not perfectly yet, but close to it, and
Hmm.
I'll be on my way. So I do think there's a glimmer of hope.
Nice.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
hope so. I need the name of this astrologer. She's speaking to my soul right now. So when we're offline, you and her number, I'm gonna call her a couple times.
I will. And we wish Joe a speedy, quick recovery. And we wish you should just continue to remain negative.
Thank
That's
you.
your superpower, I think.
Hey, thank you. I'm gonna keep it. I'm holding on to it.
Well, moving on, we've got a jam-packed show. I'm so excited about this episode. Hi, Silas, watching us over in Los Angeles,
Hey,
as well
boo.
as Teddy. We want you guys to weigh in. So much fun. Hola, hola. I couldn't help but talk about superpowers and a story that caught my eye that has your name written all over it, Kodi Maurice
Ooh, I'm so
Doggette.
excited.
Gay guys list their cartoon crushes, starting with Aladdin up to Archer, and and they're talking about the new or Archer. What's Archer? Who's Archer?
Archer is is a it's a cartoon spy. You know I know the answer.
Yeah,
He's a cartoon spy. He's kind of dumb, but he's really good at being a spy, if that makes any sense at all. And
it
he's
does
drunk,
not.
he's irreverent, he's just so much fun. And I love Archer. Archer is one of my crushes as well, but several men on Archer are my crushes as well. But yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's, back in the day when cartoons were out or you're a comic book fan,
Mhm.
I used to, I'm sure you played superheroes all the time. We played Justice of the
I play
League.
heroes, superheroes now. What you talk about?
Do you wear your underoos with them and wear?
Hey, right over top of my jeans, baby.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
it was like one of my favorite things. And if I wasn't Superman, and I was always Superman because my name's Steve,
I can see it.
and I just thought I'm Superman, and I was always a little bit more built as a gymnast, and I
Uh-huh.
was always, if for some reason I wasn't Superman, I was Aquaman, and
Oh. Well, that is a
yeah,
significant downgrade.
is it a downgrade?
Except for it's the movie Aquaman because he is
Okay.
absolute heaven. Okay.
Maybe I knew something in advance, but I was always
Ex-
Superman. Or if I'm really being honest, I was Wonder Woman
I was
and
wondering how I was gonna say
spinning
that.
around like Linda Carter, like I had no business.
Yes.
And yeah, no crush. I mean, and to be honest, Linda Carter's gorgeous, still is.
Gorgeous.
Have a crush on her. But if we were to bring it into today, you're going to be
Okay.
surprised,
All
Cody,
right.
that I actually, my former trainer got me, it said just to watch this thing. He was smart because he didn't tell me that it was an animated thing until I started watching it. And then I was already like, okay, here I am. Invincible on Prime. I
You're
watched,
kidding.
and I actually loved Invincible, and I loved,
So good, right?
and I have to say, is it bad that I had a crush both on Invincible the son and his father Omni Man? Because I
Oh my
did.
gosh.
I
That
would
is
have a three-way with the two of them. First of all, Omni Man is like a daddy dream. He's just, you want to get in there. He's confident. He's got that silver. He has a little bit of our co-host Lincoln thing going. In fact,
yeah.
Lincoln should be Omni Man at some point
For Halloween, we
for
should get him into
Halloween.
an Omni-Man suit for Halloween.
Or with his new fiance Peter, he
Yes.
Peter should be invincible,
Uh-huh.
and they could fulfill my fantasy, and
Oh,
Lincoln can
oh.
be Omni
Make a
Man,
dream come
and they
true. I
could
love
just be
it.
daddy's son. But
That's
I
one way
watched
to
it.
go about
That's one way
it.
to go about it. I was all about them, and as Invincible 2, I just thought was super hot, and the body. I just love how he naturally had that body perfection. It's just crazy.
Oh
But
yeah.
do you like that I watched Invincible?
I love it. You actually stole my crush, but
Oh, shut up.
I can adjust. I can go I can pivot. I'm here
I
for
was
it.
just gonna say you can pivot.
You know I can. I'm all about it. I think growing up, were always the Disney princes. Aladdin, Hercules was a big one. Prince Eric is my absolute favorite. So I've always loved Prince Eric, but all of them, if I could be in an orgy with all of them, I would totally do it. Like, let's go right now. There's some fan art out there that I'm going to send to you. It's very, very hot. Also, He-Man. I'm in love.
Oh,
I've
He-Man.
been in love with He-Man since I was a little
I had the
kid.
toys. I had the Gray Skull and
Yes.
Skeletor. I think I
Yes.
was a little older to have these toys, but
It's okay.
my father was into the fact that I was into it and bought me the the little figures, and I had
Uh-huh.
I think it was called Gray Skull. It's somewhere in my mom's attic somewhere. I need to pull
Okay.
that down. And yes, He-Man was everything. I wanted to
Oh, for
jump on
sure.
those biceps and climb all over him.
Yes, and all of the Pixar guys like Kristoff, and there's a new movie Encanto that's
Kristoff.
yeah, from Frozen.
Okay.
And you're like, "Bitch, who?"
What about Aladdin? Aladdin's pretty sexy.
I said Aladdin
Okay, all
already.
right.
I
You have
love
so
Aladdin.
many.
I I can't even we could fill up the whole hour here with
Okay,
me
we don't
talking
have that
about my
kind of
cartoon
time, but I have
crushes.
to end on who you were some kitty cat for Halloween. You and
Oh,
what?
Thundercat, Panthro.
Okay, so why didn't you
Yeah.
mention that?
Well, I didn't have enough time. You cut me off, boo.
Because you go on and on. Teddy says Tarzan and the
Tarzan was
boys
so
from
sexy.
Encanto. Tell
Encanto,
me,
I
what's
just
that?
mentioned it.
I don't,
So
what is that?
Encanto is a new Disney movie, and it's about a magical family that starts to lose their power. I won't go too much into it, but I'll send you some screenshots of the hot Latino family that is Encanto, and they're gorgeous. The artwork is amazing, phenomenal,
Set in
phenomenal.
Colombia. Thank you, Teddy. We love that. And Colombia, as we reported on Tags Podcast on Tuesday, has the second number highest of tops according to Grindr. Yeah,
Oh,
you
look at
just
that.
mentioned that. Yeah, so I'm all
Thank you.
for. I need to get into Encanto.
Yes, you do. So I also want to say that Joe has a crush, and I have to admit on Prince Philip from the Disney movies. And so if he's around or if he's listening, come meet me outside. I want to have a little discussion with you, okay?
Oh my God. We really need to start this new comic book podcast hosted by you because
I would love that.
we could fill this whole hour. I mean, it's crazy.
I'm
But
saying, whenever
we
you're
ha-
ready, I'm ready.
we have got to move on. I couldn't help but find these two next stories related.
Okay.
And essentially, it has to do with outdated laws that are having certain men, gay men, as considered sex offenders.
Mm.
So there's an outdated law that still forces a gay man to register as a sex offender. A South Carolina man who was forced to register as a sex offender because of a 2001 conviction. 2001, Cody,
That's
for
crazy.
having consensual sex with another man. He filed a lawsuit in federal court just this past December 22nd, challenging his status and the law itself. The
Hmm.
law has been on the books since 1712 when
That's
North and
crazy.
South Carolina split
Mm.
into two. And
What?
even though
Who remembers that?
I know, right? These damn old grandfathered, age old white, don't get me started.
Okay, I'm
E-
sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
yeah.
Continue.
Even though sodomy laws banning same-sex relations were declared unconstitutional by the US Supreme Court in 2003, the unnamed man, this man received a
Mhm.
full pardon in
Good.
2006, which is good, yet he is
Mhm.
still required to register as a sex offender. The
What?
plaintiff brought the action to quote prevent the continued application and enforcement of South Carolina's buggery prohibition. The lawsuit filed in the U.S. District Court of South Carolina declared the information that offenders are required to report upon registration is encyclopedic in scope. So he's still
Mm,
kind of in this, which is really crazy, and I can't believe it. He still has to register. I mean, imagine
yeah.
still like a rapist, which
Hmm.
but you're just all you did was fuck a guy or got fucked. I mean, I would
Yeah.
be like, if I was in South Carolina, I would be in prison. I mean,
Yeah.
really.
Many times over.
Many times over. And we're just talking about me. Let's get to you.
Oh. Yeah.
I could
Yes,
turn
many
this.
times.
I could pivot too, Cody. But but in a related story, the UK, which I love,
Yes.
they're extending their pardons to all convicted of abolished same-sex crimes. They're actually
That's
addressing the
amazing.
issue, unlike freaking South Carolina. Sorry, South Carolina listeners, but this is sad. The UK has just announced that more people will be able to receive a pardon for the now defunct criminal convictions related to consensual same-sex sexual relations.
Good for them.
The story goes on. I'll post these both on Tags Podcast, but to save some time, that's crazy.
It
That
is.
I mean, I give credit to the UK because laws are old and oftentimes don't have a chance to get overturned. This poor man in South Carolina, even though he received a pardon like
Hmm.
UK's instituting, he still has that on his record. And
Over
if
his
he
head.
moves into another county, he has to then inform like a rapist would have to inform,
It's
but
so
he simply
sad.
had got some dick.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, that should not be a crime. Getting some dick should not be a crime as long as you're both consenting adults. That's all I
And
have
that's
to
it's a
say.
BDSM scenario where I
Okay.
want to be handcuffed and flogged and fucked.
Oh. Oh.
But
Make
oh,
a video.
well, yeah. But it's all play. It's not, yeah. I
It's
mean,
not
not,
serious.
yeah.
I I remember growing up and when I was coming into my sexuality and having the fear that the sex I'd like to have, I can't say that I was actually having that sex yet, could possibly land me in jail. I don't know if you do you remember that
Yeah.
feeling like when it's crazy,
Yeah.
right? Uh,
Well, yeah. I
they
liken it
weren't.
to either you were going to get AIDS, not even HIV, AIDS, and
Uh-huh.
die, or you were going to be, scarlet red letter or scarlet letter and be crucified.
Yeah. And I can't believe that in America, we still have to deal with that type of thing hanging over our heads. It's time for us to take a beat from the UK for once and just pardon everybody and abolish all of those laws.
Yeah, yeah. I hope that man, because we all know. I mean, even in just this little situation of getting surgery, as we all know, there's so much red tape when you have to deal with government or your insurance. And so it sounds like this man in South Carolina has been dealing with this for
Hmm.
years. And
Yeah.
even with a lawyer and even with a pardon, it's still not getting him anywhere. And that's
Still hanging
got
over his
to
head.
be so frustrating. And we've got to change that. So,
Amen.
yeah. Anything that people are saying before we move on, Cody?
Teddy says, so it doesn't count with Master Joshua. Teddy has encyclopedic memory. I don't understand how he remembers every single thing that we say.
The man knows. Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. Do you want to comment on that? Does it doesn't count with Master Joshua? Yes or no?
That it doesn't count that I have. That's a fantasy that I have with that.
Oh,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
never
But
actually came to fruition.
um I've bits and pieces of that. I kind of pieced together many pieces of that story, but no, we love Master Joshua
Yes,
and
we do.
yeah, yeah. No. I love it. I love it. Okay, well we have to move on because we have
Okay,
so many stories, Cody,
we
that we've got
do,
to get to.
and we're
I
not
think
even halfway done.
I'm just going to paraphrase this next story.
Okay.
Essentially, RuPaul was recently on the Ellen show,
Mm-hmm.
and he was talking about the naughtiest moment that he can remember back in the day. And he reckoned back into the 90s, I believe it was, when he worked at a bar in Hell's Kitchen. And he
Okay.
was leaving the bar, I think he was in drag and he was going
Mhm.
downtown to another bar. You got it. I wouldn't you
Okay.
love to just be hanging out with RuPaul
I
back in that
love it.
time?
Oh my
Oh,
god. It would be
so
so
fun.
amazing.
And he was taking what he called a $9 cab ride from Hell's Kitchen to the Lower East Side. We all know that's like $18
Well,
minimum
now, yeah.
today,
Yeah.
but it was a $9 cab ride, and the cab driver told him, and he's telling this on Ellen, that
Mhm.
my naughtiest moment, the cab driver said, essentially, if you want this ride for free, put your foot over the car seat. And RuPaul obliged and put the heel over the front seat,
Oh,
and RuPaul says he did what he needed to do, and the cab ride was free.
oh,
Eh,
not my mama.
People were coming for Ru and in many different ways, but many were saying, really, that's the dirty. But back in the day, like, I mean, that was like kind of a thing. And
Hey.
I mean, I got me thinking, have I ever done something to get sort of a free ride? And
Mhm.
I have a similar
Pun
story.
intended.
Yeah, I have a similar story where I
Okay.
got into a cab at the New York Eagle institution,
Mhm.
and I would be riding from, just for you guys listening, I'm in Midtown. I live in Midtown, Chelsea, and the New York
Yes.
Eagle, the institution, has always been and remains in Chelsea, just a little
Mhm.
west of me.
Yep.
And I often in the past, not recently, would have a fun night at the Eagle and then get in a cab because the bars are open till 4, and I would
Mhm.
stay there till like 1:30 and get in a cab at 1:30 and head over to the Lower East Side to the Cock because it's
Okay.
time to step it up a notch, and we're
Okay.
about to get that's my night. Well, a couple times one time I got this cab driver, and he was very flirty and asking me, and he knew all about the Eagle, and I'm like, how do you know all about this? And when I come to
You know.
realize, yeah, and so he would get on a shift and park his car at the Eagle. So he
Mhm.
structured this, and
Mhm.
I fell for it. And he wasn't even the most good looking specimen, but there was something about him, and he invited me up to the front seat to
Oh. Oh.
to help him with the driver's stick. What do you call that? the
The stick shift?
the stick shift. I learned
Oh,
how to
his
drive, but there was no
wait,
stick shift.
wait. Wait, it was
My
his
stick.
stick shift.
No, it was my stick shift.
Oh, you got stick shifted in a cab? Oh my gosh. Do you
In
remember
an
the cab number by any chance?
in an automatic, I might add. We were going old school in an automatic.
I
We were
love it.
playing a game. And the thing is, I got that free ride, so I ran into him again,
I bet you
and I
did.
come to find out he gets on the clock and parks his car in front of the Eagle, and he knows what he's doing.
He
And
does. He definitely does. He's probably been in the Eagle.
I was so obsessed with the story that I wasn't even attracted to this guy, but
Uh-huh.
it was just the naughtiness of it all, that I could get in the front seat of a taxi cab driver, get a free ride to my next stop. And I don't know, I went with it, and I was like, he would pull not to my destination, but a little around the corner so I could get out, and I would be like looking around in case, all
Oh,
under
you know you were looking for him.
putting my
Craig, is
hoodie
that
up.
you? You Oh my goodness. That's amazing. That's a great story. If you
Dick
know his cab
shift.
number.
It's called a dick shift. Yes, exactly. Yeah, you're right, Teddy, watching us live. He probably did all his legitimate rides. And now he was like, oh, I'm going to go and I'm going to find me. It's time for dick shift. And I'm going to
Yep.
do a couple dick shifts. Good, good.
That's
Yeah.
that's what's up.
Kodi, what have you done, or can you relate, or what the
I
hell?
I can. I've done plenty of naughty things. I've given cab drivers shows, but I've never gotten a free ride. That's why I'm like, if you want to
You
give
just
me
didn't
his
play it
cab
right.
number,
You didn't play it right. Yeah.
exactly. I should have invited him into the back seat with me and whomever. And I've
Everything's a
had
transaction,
it
Cody.
really
Everything's a
is,
transaction. We
and
are
I have to learn how to
transacting
work
right
it.
now.
We certainly are.
I am
But
feeding you the topic and you are transacting it right back at
right,
me. And our
and
listeners
I'm good
are,
at it.
yeah, and everything's a nice transaction.
It sure is. And I have to say that I haven't gotten anything for free, but like having sex as far as that's concerned. But I
Okay.
have showed the bartender at the Cock My Penis several times to get a free drink.
Oh, yeah, that's a
Were
notorious.
you with
Yeah.
me?
I think we were together. Yeah. Show me your dick. Show me your cock. Show me your dick. Show me your cock. Get a drink. Get a drink. Yeah. It's this
Yeah.
whole like da, 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 da,
So
da,
I'm
da, da.
like,
It's a very circus act. And I mean it's right.
who hasn't
Step right on up and
stepped
show me
right
your
up?
dig.
Yeah,
We're about to
exactly.
unveil the biggest dick, which is a story coming up, by the way. The biggest dick
Oh,
ever. But in the meantime, step right on up.
that's
Yeah,
the only time I
Teddy
got something
asked,
for
was it
free.
flaccid? And
I would like to say it was a semi. We were in the Cock. I don't know exactly what was going on, so it was definitely worth a free drink. I can say that for sure. It was worth a free drink.
so the trick of those guys, what they try and do is, especially at the place we're referencing, is they have you, yeah, show me your cock, get a shot. And they do,
No, it
if
was
they
a
see,
whole drink, and it was top
okay,
shelf.
okay. Well, I got a shot before. If they like what they see, they will spend time with you and try and fluff you up. And in my experience, then you get the free drink. But yeah, you just went right to the whole drink. I love that.
So Teddy goes, so a full erect might be 3 rounds, and I'm gonna let him know that I would buy the whole bar out, just so everybody knows.
Teddy needs to visit us here, and we have to have a night out at the Cock. Yes, he
Oh,
says,
for
"Relax,
sure.
bitch." Oh my God, stories we could tell. We've got to move on, and this next one, I think we were going to have a lot to say. I know I do because I took separate
Mhm.
notes on this. Even
Did you really? A
I
whole separate
did,
notebook?
I did. Essentially, there's a morning show in Auckland, New
Oakland?
Zealand,
Uh-huh.
and morning it's called. And only this could happen, overseas, right? They've had this guest on with the man's largest penis in the world,
Mhm.
who was just recently on this morning, and the hosts were their jaws dropped, but they literally did. I'm looking at the video right now. They
Yeah.
did I want to say about a 12-minute interview with this guy,
It was so
Jonah.
long.
It's a great interview, but honestly, c- two things came to mind. Like, I
Uh-huh.
could not imagine Hoda Kotb sitting down for 12
Mm,
minutes. And if you know anything about media, we try and keep these segments moving along. We don't have commercial breaks in these podcasts. So we try and go for,
yes.
just to give you a little perspective, 45 minutes, 50 minutes is our
Mhm.
show. And we try and
Yep.
keep our topics on. Sometimes we go a little over if we're excited.
That's right.
Which we often are, but we
We
try and
always
keep it
have something to
moving.
say.
Yeah, a 12-minute interview is like unheard of in
Yeah.
media when you've got commercials and all that. But when you've got a subject of the biggest penis, and so they did this whole thing on the morning show that the average size penis erect is about 5 to 7 inches.
Mhm.
Jonah's, who's been on this morning show several times, is measured at 13 and a half inches and 8 inches round.
Okay. I feel
So,
like I've seen bigger. I don't know.
but do you need to see bigger?
I don't need
Because first of all, I will post this on TAGSPodcast.com so you can watch the interview, because rather than just even seeing the dick, because Jonah shows the dick pic on his
Yes, he
phone to the
does.
co-hosts, only them. Obviously, he couldn't show it on TV. They do in Auckland apparently have some things that they can't do. He shows it to them, their jaws drop. They proceed on for this 12-minute interview. And some of the things that came out of it is Jonah's bisexual.
Yes, he
Jonah's
is.
balls are the same size. Like,
Mm-hmm.
in other words, he doesn't have a shriveled up ball sack in comparison to the 13 and a half. They're
Mm-hmm.
huge. He has to coil it up at times when he's walking down the street,
It's
or
been
he was,
mistaken for a tumor.
it's been mistaken for, I don't know.
Yes.
Yes, some people think that he's dumb or less intelligent. These are just assumptions. And he does not regret having this. He is who he is, and they have preconceived notions that he's going to come in there like Rambo with this 13 and a half incher, and actually he uses his mouth a lot more.
That's what he
Um,
said.
so the one thing besides the absurdity or the brilliance of
Mm-hmm.
Auckland, that maybe that's why we're so repressed here in America, because Hoda Kotb can't seem to talk to some guy and his dick size. And I think if we had that here in America, we wouldn't be so fucking repressed.
It's true.
And maybe they are on to something in freaking New Zealand, Auckland.
Uh-huh. I was gonna
Yeah.
ask you, could you host this segment? But I was like, I
We
already
do
know the
this
answer
every
to that.
day. We go
I
beyond hosting
know.
that. What are you talking about?
I know. I thought of never mind. I'm not gonna ask
Yeah,
this
bite your
question.
tongue. The thing is, the thing that I could relate to is in security. So when he goes to security, they, like you said, they've asked him
Mhm.
before, do you have a tumor? And I have a story here. So I've said before, I'm somewhat of a big dick bottom, not
Okay.
13 and a half inches by 8. I don't think I would want to be that big. That's too big. It's too
It
big. But I'm so happy that
eh,
Jonah's proud of it and happy for himself. And you got to deal with what you have. But
mhm. Yeah, he
let me
loves
just
it.
tell this. So, in going home for the holidays, I had to go through on a wheelchair, right? Because my ankle's broken.
Mhm.
And you get to lovely people help you to that point. And then at a certain point, can you go through security and stand? I said, I can stand on one leg. And they're like, we need to take your crutches. I'm like, okay, I have good balance. Let's do it. And both times at SFO and at JFK, they both patted me down like never before. And one of them at SFO showed me the screener scan, and my crotch, I don't know if I was positioning it differently or whatever. It was like pat down the crotch area. And they asked me several times, do you want to go
What?
to, and they asked me, where you have to go like a deep dive pat down, do you want to go to a different area? I said, what part of I can't walk says that I need to just stay right here, and you need to just pat me down in front of America here, like I don't fucking care, like I host a
Yeah,
sex podcast, come on, so do
you're
it
not a
here.
prude.
But they
Yeah.
pointed to the x-ray, and it was all centered around my crotch, and let me tell you, they went deep dive in my growing ball sack. I mean, not copping a feel, but it kind of felt
I
like.
don't know, Steve.
But I looked at it, and I think maybe the way, because I'm walking with these crutches, that it's lowered down, and I don't know, but I feel for Jonah that maybe I needed to like fold it up a little bit. So next.
So it wouldn't look like a weapon of mass destruction?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Yeah. What were your thoughts on the whole thing? Because it's this whole like serious interview,
Yeah.
and this would never happen in America. Or what part of this whole thing were you like, or anything? What were your
About
thoughts?
halfway through, I said to myself, I can't watch this. But I went to the end, actually. And
It's a riveting interview.
it was interesting because he's an actor and he doesn't want to be typecast. And there was a lot to the interview. And
Yeah.
he's been on before. So I was like, what are they rehashing? Just that he has a big
I
dick?
know. Is
Like,
it a slow day, or
what is
or is
it?
or is it Auckland Sweeps Week, where get Jonah back in here?
Get
We
the
got to
big
get
dick
the
man
sweep.
back
Get the
again.
big man. We got it. It's Sweeps Week. We got to like get it's numbers week.
I kind of
Chetty
confused,
goes, they had
but
a hole to fill.
they certainly did, and he filled it twice over. Uh, But I felt for him a little bit because I can understand what it feels like to have a, to be larger and to have people.
You why can you understand that?
I've been in that position before, and to have people say, "Oh no, I don't want to mess with you," because it's too big.
Anaconda?
Hey, you know what I'm
Hey.
saying. So in that respect, I definitely could empathize with that gentleman.
I hear you. Yeah, I mean, I will post this on Text Podcast because you have to watch the 12-minute interview because in some ways I'm like, this is so ludicrous. In other
So,
ways, I'm really impressed because I just know it is a common. I mean, it is about our sexuality, and he
mhm,
does give a really good interview about life with this appendage,
mhm.
and it is our sexuality, and we do this on the show all the time, and so maybe they're onto something. And
We need to
instead,
call
here
him.
in America, we're so repressed with like, don't talk about any of that. I mean, freaking Janet Jackson, you had to blink to see her nipple,
You
and
did.
the world was in uproar.
Aghast. Yes, they
And
canceled her, getting
Auckland is
canceled
having a whole
Justin.
conversation about the size of it, the girth of it,
Oh,
and
and then
on
they
and
went
on.
into, can we talk about the Mexican man with the long foreskin
Oh,
too?
yes, because apparently they found somebody that had a longer penis, and it's the
Yes.
Mexican man. Hello. It wasn't me, though. It wasn't me. I may be Mexican, but and and Jonah was quick to point out that, oh, but it's the foreskin.
Yeah,
And
I was like, "Where
and
is
what did he say?
that?" He said they did a CAT scan, and he's actually very averagely endowed. He just has been stretching his foreskin since he was a teenager. I was like, "What is this? What
And it
is
was
this?"
grotesque, I think he also said too.
I know. Well, how about talk about body shaming? I would never say
Well,
something
yeah.
like that.
I mean, yeah. I hear it. Yeah, it was a lot. Oh my god. What are we going on to the grinder story, or do you want to move
Let's
on
do
to
the Grinder
Paps?
story. I thought that was
Okay, yeah,
really
okay,
good.
good. Let's move on. All right, moving on here. So Grinder is always in the news, and 2022 is no different. There is a tweet that went viral about toxic Grinder culture, and
Mhm,
essentially on December 29th, a user by the name of, I guess I could say his name because they posted it here at
mhm.
CNTB88. He posted a meme from the brand new movie, which everybody says is great. Don't Look Up. Have you seen it, Cody?
I haven't seen it yet, but I
Everybody says
will.
it's great, and
Really? I have to look into it. I love Leonardo
I'll
DiCaprio.
my foot will be raised and watching it this weekend. So they posted a meme of Ariana Grande, who's in the film, calling Leonardo DiCaprio an old fuck. Quote, me
Mhm.
and Grinder. So this person, CNTB88, wrote, me on Grinder. Hey, how are you? And then he writes, guys that are 2 years younger. So essentially, it's about ageism. And over the
Ageism.
last week, the tweet has gone absolutely viral, racking up over
Mhm,
1 million impressions, more than 25,000 likes, and nearly 2,000 retweets as people commented on that. And there was a funny story related to this as a guy, two guys, a couple that are in an open relationship, uh, decided to share their story, Cody,
mhm,
and they were hitting up a guy who was 22.
mhm.
And the guy said, what about my profile? You're too old. And the couple
What?
that was hitting this 22-year-old up was 25 and 28. So
That's
are you,
insane.
yeah. But
Am I
this is where we are at, Cody, in 2022. It's come down to this. It's come down to this. It's
Can I say I'm way hotter than any 22-year-old than like at
I'll
least
vouch for
90%.
that.
Thank you. About 85% of the 22-year-olds out there. That's crazy that he would say that. That's I, that's horrible. I can't believe that. Why would you even go out there and say that, you know, d- based on age? That's just so wild to me. I can't
I
even
believe
get out my expression.
I believe it. I mean, we've heard. for the last several years reported on just ageism
Hmm.
in the funny thing is where I got this story, which I believe was Queer Tea,
Hmm.
followed up with some senior gay men. They filmed this like a couple years ago, where the
Hmm.
senior men are like 65 plus,
Okay.
and they introduced them to Grinder, and all of them said they like Grinder, and they don't care that they don't feel old, just
Yeah.
despite what the culture seems to want to tell us. And I do think in 2022, it would be great to kind of change this narrative, if nothing else, to believe in yourself that you aren't old, that you may come across some of these roadblocks, if you will,
Hmm.
of insanity, but that,
Hmm.
listen, move on. And if you're
Yeah,
confident with yourself and you know who you are, shit. The reality is everyone is getting older, and
that's true. And they're
good
not
luck.
going to stay 22 forever. That's
And good
facts.
luck if you look as good as we do and are as
Thank you.
active. Good fucking luck.
That's right.
Because I don't really ever feel ageism at all, even though I'm 50. And if anything, last year I was all about putting it out there. In fact, friend to the show, Sebastian Lacaze, was like, "You keep saying you're 50." I'm like, "I know, because I'm so happy and
And
proud
you're
to be 50.
exactly.
And this is me now. This, like J Lo, there's I want to be a part of the narrative that shows I am sexually mature and more in charge of my sexuality than ever before.
Hmm.
This is what 50 looks like now, and I want to be a part of that narrative that so many of people in my life are expelling and putting out there. And as a result, because I probably don't go on the apps as much, I don't come across that. If anything, when I go out and I meet people, they're typically younger than me. But I
Yeah,
would,
because
yeah,
we're still sexy and viable, and we still have, I feel like we have a youthful air about us as well.
yes,
So I understand that, but I understand that we probably come across as, because I get a lot of younger guys as well. My boyfriend he just turned 30
yeah,
last
which I
year.
love,
So that's, and I was not, we did meet on Grinder, and Grinder, I don't want to say Grinder is this horrible place,
no,
but
and let's not say that. Let's not, good point. Let's not say that.
but there is some toxicity that exists in Grinder. But I met my boyfriend in Grinder, but I don't usually hit up guys that are younger than me. I hit up guys that are my age, sometimes a little bit older, because you know why? I like, that's the type of guy that I generally go for. But I think that maybe these guys get a little bit braver because of the anonymity that maybe the apps provide them. And it really causes them to say things that they are going to regret later on in life, honestly, because they are going to get older, just like we're going to, if they're lucky.
Yeah, right. Really. It's kind of the name of the age-old game,
Yeah.
as yeah,
And
and
they're not going to want somebody to treat them that way. So they should treat
no.
people in the way, in the respect that they wish to be treated,
And honestly,
basically.
they're missing out. And I think that when you're out
We
and
have so
about,
much to offer as
so much
far.
to offer, more sexually in our prime, more less jealous, and all that bullshit that comes with oftentimes the 20s and 30s. So you're missing out. But I think if you can get out of, also, just obviously we're in that COVID moment right now, but when people are going back out, people are less, I think you're not looking at someone's profile and that age
Mhm,
requirement, minimum, whatever that is. You are meeting people in general. And 9 times out of 10, I see people all the time. I myself meet people.
mhm.
You're not sizing, first of all, you don't have that 50/28 on your forehead,
Yeah.
and you're left to your own devices, and it's much more natural and much more sexually compatible when you go about that. It's just, if you only hide behind the apps, you're going to be a product of
Mhm.
that trajectory.
Yeah,
So
I agree
yeah.
with you.
Facts. I love it. We are brown men. We age well.
It's true.
Okay.
Hello. No wrinkles over here, baby.
Exactly. Oh, all right. We have got to move on to our last story, and I think all we have time for. Which one do you want to do out of the two, Cody? I'll let you
uh,
decide.
the gifts, of course.
Okay. Okay. Well, you know how we
I got
have
it
this.
ready.
Can you put it in
Already done,
for.
honey. Already done.
Okay, good. So, straight up gay porn has been supplying us with the who took the most thirstiest picture video of the week, and they're on a hiatus right now because they're about to have the straight up gay porn awards later this
Mhm.
month, January 2022. But in the meantime, they did do a year in review with the 21 most iconic gay porn gifs of 2021. And the
Okay.
reason I wanted to do this one because I didn't realize the power of a good GIF, Cody, but
So
when you
good.
put it, when you state it that way, half of the stories, I could be in my work mode and see a GIF moment and have to take a
Mhm.
masturbation break. It's just the reality
And I
of
did.
a really good GIF moment, sex scene moment can take me. I could be like, oh, I got to call this person. I got to call the doctor. I got to do this. I got to do that. Oh, record
Oh.
that. Do this. Oh, hold on a second. Masturbation break. Masturbation break. Everything shut down. Hold my assistant. Okay, when I get my assistant, masturbation break.
Hey.
And back at it, and that's all from a freaking gift. So I love that they did this, and I want to know, do you have a favorite gift out of all these? And I will, by the way, post
Go.
this on tagspodcast.com so you guys can pick which gift is your favorite.
Yes, I do have a favorite. I It was so hard to choose this week
Hard to
because
choose.
they were all so sexy. But my
The
number
power
one,
of the gift.
it was, and I just found myself scrolling up and down and up and down and up. I was like, this is amazing and I love it. But my favorite, I would have to say, would be Raheem Shabazz and Italo Andrade.
Oh yeah.
Did you choose that one?
That's I have 3 of them, and that's one of them, yeah.
Bitch,
I
not
have, like.
3.
Oh no, actually, I don't have that one, but that's a great one. I know what you're.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whew. So, I'm gonna just describe the GIF and what's going.
Is it GIF or
Raheem.
GIF?
I think both are acceptable.
Okay. Depending on where
I
you live in the country.
If you're from the Northeast, I think you say GIF. If you're from the West Coast, you say
It's
GIF.
GIF.
So,
All
all
right.
right. So Raheem has Idolo bent over a table, and it looks like an end table in a hallway or something. And it's that moment of first insertion when when you're about to have, you've had all your foreplay. You've been kissing and licking and rubbing everything.
Oh, really? Oh, really?
I'm gonna have to go
It's a
over to my
short
boyfriend.
segment, Cody, so wrap
Oh,
it
okay,
up here.
sorry. And it's the first time he's putting it in, and that's the whole GIF. And you have to put it in nice and slow. It's my favorite part of any porn movie ever. That's the part that I look for. That's the
Ever.
Yeah. And Raheem is such a good top. He should really teach online classes. I would take them all.
Ooh, wow, yeah, I would definitely take him as as a certifiable bottom. Yeah.
Yes. And Idolo's eyes roll into the back of his skull, and it's just amazing. I love it. So, yeah, that was my favorite.
I couldn't really pick honestly because they're all so
Just
good
pick
and they're.
one.
But I think I'm gonna pick one. I think how many are
Okay.
there of them? There are
Um,
21. For the next
okay.
21 days, I'm gonna have 21 masturbation breaks. Just that's all there is to it. But starting with the first one is like insanity of a guy like choking. First of all, the guy's on the couch with his legs spread open and he's fucking the bottom and choking him. That's
Okay.
always been a fantasy, the choking
Oh,
bit that I
yes.
think
That
is
was
good.
good.
But I have to give it up to Carter Woods, who's stroking Jaden Marcos. Jaden Marcos is so adorable and sexy and beautiful skin. And Carter Woods, they're acting like they're um fraternity brothers, and oh, I didn't know you had such a big dick, it, and I'm making the dialogue. I can make the dialogue up for this gif or gif,
I
depending on
think
the
that
country.
might be part of the appeal because you can
And
just make up anything in your mind with
yeah,
these gifts.
so Jaden is saying, "Oh yeah, it gets that big. Yeah, I can't help it." And Carter's saying, "Oh wow, mine doesn't really get that big. Do you think if I stroked it, it would get even bigger?" "Well, I don't know,
Oh,
bro. Maybe if you tried stroking it, it might get. Why don't we do a little? Do you want a shot before we? No, let's just do." That's the whole thing I'm getting from this with the
I love it. You should do voiceover for all the GIFs. I think that's what
child,
you should.
please. It's coming in 2022 on TAGSPodcast.com. We are doing, it's all about the stories, but there are so many good ones, including one of my favorite positions. Oh, Sean Austin writing Raheem Shabazz. That's not the one that you
That's
picked,
not the
was it?
one I picked. No.
Okay. It's like a perfectly smooth Manscaped, which you can get 20% off, by the way, using our promo code TAGS. Go to
Okay.
manscaped.com.
You better get that plug
Promo
in.
code TAGS. Perfectly shaved ass, taking Raheem's perfectly built dick. Not like a Jonah dick, not 13 and a half inches, but we'll take
Pretty damn
this.
close.
Yeah. And it's like a perfect insertion, and it's kind of like unreal.
Yes.
They're all so good. We want you to weigh in, though.
I'm gonna read some of the comments over
Read some of
here.
the comments.
So Silas picked all of my favorites as well. Andre Donovan and Theo Bradley. Andre Donovan is ejaculating on Theo, has
Oh, is
ejaculated
it
on
tons
Theo
of
Bradley
cum?
on his face, and he's
Like
licking it
tons
off.
of cum?
Ah, my mind was blown.
That's like,
Masturbation break there.
I have to like hold 10 days worth of not coming to have that, a fraction of that load.
Not me.
We heard, bitch. We heard.
Drowning the kids. Anyway, so and then next is Chow Veron and Riddick, which
Say
Chow.
that name again, Cody.
I can't. I don't know if I can.
I know.
I don't.
I know you. I know you can't, because that's what.
Chow is on a table and he's just pounding Riddick and is big
Not on a table.
on another one on a table. Can you imagine? I think that might be my new theme for the new year. All on everything on a table. And then Teddy says Travis Stevens and Ashton Summers flip fuck over and over, and they just basically switch places. And that one is one of my favorites too. So Teddy. And
No, it's the
yeah,
edge of a bed. Silas is correcting you.
oh, it's the edge of a bed. I apologize. I was going from memory because I was reading the comments here. So I apologize. It's the edge of a bed. Okay. A bitch can make a couple mistakes sometimes.
Not with our audience. Not with our audience, apparently. Positioning is very important, Silas says, and
Likewise.
I agree.
But I think tables are still going to be my thing for this year.
You need to think about yourself too, because the edge of a bed allows the top to position comfortably on a cushioned moment.
Mhm.
The edge of a table, is that table secure? Is it moving? Ow, what kind of table is this? Is the staff coming in to cook a little bit later in the middle of this fucking moment?
That's why you clean. You okay, all right. Yeah.
Oh, Silas said he's short. I'm too old for a table. Okay. Speaking of ageism, wow, we have pushed it, and not in a good way.
I know, right? And I thought that we would get through all of the topics in just perfect record time, but here we are, overtime again.
Yes. Oh my God.
And loving every minute.
Loving every minute. Welcome to 2022. Hang in there, everybody. Next Wednesday, you guys, we are live again, and it's my birthday. So I hope you guys enjoy. I'll be fresh out of surgery.
Mhm.
Monday, I have surgery, and next Wednesday, what's that? The 12th? Yes, January 12th is my birthday. And so come with your cocktail, and we'll be live 9 p.m. Eastern time. It's going to be a lot of fun. I might be a little loopy, but I will have champs.
Perfect. I can't wait. We're going to get everything on video, and I'm so excited.
Yeah. Don't forget to follow my co-host Kodi Maurice Doggette. He's a life coach, and you can follow him on Instagram at KMD Coaching, or Mr. Maurice, Mr.
That's me.
Maurice. And ask us for sex advice or follow us on Instagram at TAGSPodcast or any social media platform that you choose at Tags Podcast. Thanks so much, you guys. So much fun,
Thank
Cody.
you,
And
darling.
in the meantime, people need to do what? Continue having hot,
Hot,
gay
gay
sex.
sex.
Yeah. So much fun.